Ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who lieth betwixt, welcome back to another live stream here from the Funcom office in Oslo. And people are incredibly excited to see me. This is interesting. But we have a lot of people in chat today. It's like 200 people, both on Twitch and YouTube, which is, you know, exciting. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope everyone's having a lovely Thursday afternoon. I know I do, at least. Got my cup of tea, got all my notes ready for the stream. Got Nicole and Andy in chat. Got a very active chat going, so we'll see if we'll, you know, be able to keep up with what everyone's saying. I did not eat Robert Hagenahel. He is busy working on some other stuff. Natasha is over in the US, recovering slightly from TwitchCon and also working out of the US office for a little bit. And yeah, Andy and Nicole is in chat, so give them a little shout out. And it's been a hell of a week. So last week, if you were watching the stream, we revealed a new dungeon. And we talked about some new armors and weapons that you can get as loot in the new dungeon. And then, all the way at the end, you may have seen a horse riding by in the background. And then on Friday, we announced mounts, which I know a lot of people are incredibly excited for. We are not going to be showing you mounts gameplay today. Mounts gameplay is reserved for, well, later when we're closer to releasing mounts in December. So you're going to have to wait a little bit for more mounts footage until then. But I think maybe, you know, a couple of people might have tweeted a bit about it from TwitchCon. I think we also retweeted maybe a video or two from people who might have done some filming. So we'll see. But like, there will be mounts footage at some point, but for the time being, it'll be the stuff you saw on screen, and it'll be the teaser trailer that we put out last Friday. All right, so we also went to TwitchCon last weekend. Andy and Nicole were there, and so was Natasha and Eirik, our PR manager, to show off Moons of Madness, to show off some Conan Chop Chop, and of course to show off mounts from Conan Exiles. And you know, if you were there and visited us, then, you know, thank you so much for coming by and for playing our games. And you know, I guess, I mean, I know Chad is excited about mounts, so I shouldn't really ask, but like, I think everyone is excited about mounts. So it should be cool. Let's see. Apparently, there's some desync stuff going on, which I'm not going to troubleshoot while we're live. So unfortunately, it's just going to be something that I'm going to have to look into after the stream is live. Like, it's I did everything correctly as far as I can tell, so it should be okay. But I can turn up the volume a little bit so people might hear some more of what I'm saying. All right. Today, if you've been following our social media channels, you might know already that we are talking about the next DLC that's coming out for Conan Exiles. It is called Debaucheries of Derketo, and so a lot of people are expecting some. Let's see, some very. I'm assuming a lot of people are expecting some very sexy things to come out of this DLC, and we'll see what happens. I think a lot of it looks really good. I'm going to say that much, and then we shall see what everyone thinks. And yes, the Derketo DLC is part of the Season Pass. If you go to Steam or any of the other stores, you can like have a look-see at the Season Pass and see that, yes, Debaucheries of Derketo is listed as one of the things that will come out in the Season Pass. So yes, it is 100% covered in the Season 2 Season Pass. But yeah, so we called Blood and Sand internally. We called it the PvP DLC because, you know, it came with some new weapons, it came with the battle standards, etc., etc. Riders of Hyboria obviously is the mounts DLC because we're, you know, Riders of Hyboria, and the Debaucheries of Derketo is something that we have called. We've sort of called it like the RP pack internally. So I think you're gonna enjoy some of the things that we have that I have to show for you tonight or today. We're calling it the RP pack because there's a lot of stuff that we think role players are really going to enjoy, and it's so which means that there's clothing options, there's a lot of placeables, There's emotes. There's a bunch of stuff. This is a DLC that used to be called something Asheronian, and we changed the name to better reflect what we felt was in the DLC pack. All right, and yes, and if you have to go, if you don't catch the entire stream, this will of course be available as a VOD on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/funcom, and over on twitch.tv/funcom. So you know, and if you have to be at work or if you have to be at school or whatever, and you can't watch the entire live stream. All right, so but last week we showed off some new idle animations, which I think my character should scroll through sooner rather than later, alongside the new dungeon. And the idle animations, the new dungeon, the new weapons, etc., is now available over on Test Live. If you're, you know, if you want to check that out. And yeah, today is all about the Debaucheries of Derketo, which is coming out very, very soon, during the month of October. And as you might have noticed, my character is already wearing one of the new outfits that we are introducing in the Debaucheries of Derketo. This is the innkeeper's outfit, which is consists of a innkeeper's. Excuse me. Let's see. Consists of a innkeeper's vestments and an innkeeper's pants. Because you know we want to, you know, if you want to dress up like a tavern person or like a tavern bench or a tavern waiter, I guess it would be the male equivalent. Who knows? All right. But there's some other stuff as well that I'm gonna show you today, and I think we're just gonna get to it. So we're out here in the Swungle, which some of you might be very familiar with, and so we've pre-built some stuff here already with some of the new building pieces using some of the new placeables that we have. You know, if you want to wear shoes, then we have tons of boots and stuff. I think this set goes really, like these two goes really well with a lot of other armor pieces that we have. So you should be able to find some of that as well. And I'm going to very quickly check a message. And then I'm going to jump back in. So I'm going to take this elevator all the way to the top of my village. And then once I'm at the top, I'm going to start to talk about some of the new building pieces that we're introducing. Because you might have noticed already that some of them are already in use, but we're going to show them specifically what they look like. Can we have a helicopter like in Rust? No, that would be, I think that would break the lore somewhat. It would be very difficult to have a helicopter in a game like Conan Exiles. All right, so in this DLC pack will be 10 new building pieces, and chief among them is something that is called, let's see, I'm going to actually take some of these building pieces out. And the idea is to sort of expand your building options a little bit. And so one of them is this lovely tree top platform that you can place out on trees and then start to, you know, build out as a, we call it the treetop foundation and tree house foundation. And it looks a little bit like this. It will slot into trees, and it will slot into mountains, etc., etc. And once you attach it to a surface, then, whoops, I need to spawn in some more. Let's see, tree house, and then hotkey, and then they will also start attaching to each other as you start building around. At least so they stick out from like just the side there. And then once that is done, let's see, sandstone wedge. You can start attaching wedge pieces to it, and also other square or triangular ceiling pieces, and then you can like start building out, and then you have, you know, a pretty decent Ewok village going. It's sort of a less heavy foundation, but it also, like, unlike the very like square blocky foundations that sort of just stick out one block each, this is essentially a circle. So like it is essentially 6 wedge pieces put together that you can then just slot into the side of a mountain. And then you can just sort of build out from there, which you'll see we have done over here, and we have done over here as well. And, you know, they follow the regular stability stuff, so you also need pillars and other things to sort of keep everything on the level. Mm. And yes, the idea is to let people, build up in trees and have some more, expanded building options. So from here, I can just start adding more different kinds of foundations and then just sort of expand my circle. Or if I want to, I can add a ladder to these like platforms up here and then continue upwards into the trees if I want to. Alrighty. And I think these look really neat and interesting. Like just setting up this platform took me a couple of minutes, and then just adding the stuff on top of it is also very, very easy. Like it works just like any other foundation. You put it up and then just boom, 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 start attaching building pieces to it. And yeah, like I said, what's really interesting is that you don't have to eyeball them that much when you're building around a tree. So I'm just going to remove these here, because if I now have one over there and then I want to place another one, they automatically attach to each other. So like I know that if I place one here, then there's one wedge that can go between them. Same thing over here as well. Like I know that, okay, this is 2 wedges and nothing more. So I don't have to like be very careful about placement and all that kind of stuff. Sonic Killer from YouTube asks, can we please have a flying horse? Unfortunately not. We are not going to be introducing flying mounts. That's something that we've talked about since, I think, the beginning of like the early access period, or the before early access period, was that if we were going to have mounts, we wouldn't have flying mounts because they make the map way too small. Like maps already make the mounts already make the map a bit smaller because the idea is for them to. Well, we'll see. Like, and then flying mounts will make them even smaller again, because then you can just fly up and over things. So when we roll out mounts, it will just be horses, and like that will be it. All right. Can the tree foundations be used on ground level? I actually haven't tested this out, so we should check that real quick. I'm god modded, which is why I can jump out of this giant thing. Yes. And these can also be used on ground level if you want to quickly just make a, circular platforms like this, which I think is really neat. All right, let's fly up again. You also might have noticed that we have some lovely like jungle, to quote, I forget the comedian, to quote a British comedian. We have some jungle canyon rope bridges, which are called hanging bridges, and then we also have rope bridges over here, and they come in 3 varieties: short, medium, and then longer. And the idea is they will work just like any other building piece. So for example, if let's say I want to build over to that tree over there, I can grab come on, give me this please. I can, in theory, let's see, insulated wooded ceiling, there we go. Okay. Then if I want to, I can just knock down this thing here, and then I can continue building as long as I have stability, of course. So like at this point, I need to add maybe some pillars underneath this bridge here to sort of have all the stability. Yeah, snapping has been, I was rejected by the snapping, unfortunately. But yeah, the idea is then you can like more easily bridge gaps between buildings, between bases, between, level geometry, that kind of stuff. Because they, let's see if I can get this to snap. Yeah, so this would be the medium one, this would be the shorter one, and then we have the much longer one over here. So you can sort of get a sense for so yeah, you have the longer bridge, which covers like the lengths of 3 foundation pieces. You have the medium bridge, which is 2, and then you have the shorter one, which is 1. And yeah, it's all about the role playing and all about the aesthetics in this pack. So there are no new weapons, for example, but like it's the God, what am I trying to say? It's the treehouse foundations, it's the hanging bridges, and it's the rope bridges. So they They look a bit different. Let's see. This is the, these are the rope bridges. And then, of course, you have the hanging bridges on the side there. So it's, you know, if you're one of those people who like to build a lot of towers, you can now connect them more easily with bridges. If you want to, like I said, if you want to build out in the jungle, you can start like connecting these things together. So, you know, you need slightly less pillars and all that kind of stuff in order to make this look good. And I think these are interesting to build. I think it opens up the building options that people have, you know. And I know that like in real life, rope bridges shouldn't need pillars, but like we built the building system on a system of stability where you you need a certain amount of stability in order to like build out from a foundation, and like we can't just start like breaking the rules of the building system just because we introduce rope bridges. That's sort of just what it is, unfortunately. All right, so that's it for bridges. I'm just going to tear some of these down. And finally, something that another thing that I think people are also going to appreciate is something that we call stages. And this is for all the people who I'm going to talk a bit about this more. Like this DLC pack is for everyone who ever wanted to build like a tavern in Conan Exiles, and I know that's one of those things that is one of those things that people have been asking about. Like I want to make a bar, I want to make this thing, and usually it means I want just like a giant blueprint that I can sort of plunk down, everything builds itself. But like we want people to have a modular building system. We want people to have you know, we want people to have everything that the modular, like, excuse me, we want people to be able to build things using a modular building system, so that they, you know, have to sort of place out every single piece on their own. So the stage building pieces is essentially half steps that you can then use to make stages. So let's bring up a ceiling piece. This one, for example. Put that there. Put that there. So let's say that I'm building on this wooden platform, and all the way at the edge here, I want to erect a stage. So I just select my building piece, and then it'll snap just like any other foundation, like any other building piece, and then I just make a little stage, for example, where people can dance and frolic and do whatever they want, essentially. So I have the side of the stage can either be curved or it can be a straight piece like you see here. So for example, I can just switch that out with something else. So it's essentially the same as a regular foundation or the stairs, but they're just half the height. So that allows you to sort of step up here and then let's see, where are the dances? I haven't learned any of the dances, which is why nothing's happening. All right. Yeah, so if I want to, I can start entertaining from up here. So this is for those role players who sort of, like, maybe you want to role play as an enslaved character and you're being forced to dance your life away on top of someone's stage, for example. Or, you know, this is the perfect place to put all your dancing thralls if you want to have like a functioning bar, or if you want just sort of put them on like an elevated platform, for example. I'm also going to double check if walls will snap to the stage pieces. They absolutely will not, because they are then overlapping with another object. But I do believe if I do this, I can just add a stage piece like this. But you can have one stage piece and then add a wall piece to it. And if you want to, you can absolutely play some Nickelback from that stage, but you should be careful, because I hear they're, you know, kind of rough about the whole copyright thing these days, especially if you post stuff on Twitter. But, you know, who knows what happened. But yeah, they will, at least they, rules-wise, when it comes to like snapping, they act like a foundation. I don't know if they have stability. I don't believe that they have. So I'm going to assume that they work just like stairs. But, you know, you're welcome to experiment and find out. Easyling in Twitch chat also points out a very good thing is that they are pretty good for a throne room. So if you want to, for example, you can build like a raised dais or whatever it's called, and then just put a throne on top of that, so you're slightly elevated above everyone else, which I think a lot of people would enjoy. And there's a giant snake over there, which you... All right, I think that's it for the building pieces. Yeah, so there's 10 new building pieces. There are the treetop foundations. There are 6 different bridges, so like 3 of each theme. And then there are the well, that's actually 11. Excuse me. And then there are the stage pieces as well, which come in platforms, which come in different shapes, as you can see. All right, let's put these back where they belong. And then we are moving on to the placeables. So for the past couple of DLCs, there have been a lot of questions from people about when am I getting more placeables? And you're getting some placeables in this DLC. So I'm going to climb up here again because it's a lot easier to sort of show this stuff off over here. So my counter says 29. I may have, I might be missing a couple. So like if you're, sitting there on the VOD going through like every single square and then realize that I only had 25 in my inventory instead of 29 before, rush off to the comments. There are some of them that are called the same thing. So I might have forgotten 1 or 2. So I apologize for that. But there's going to be, I think, a full list when we really release the patch notes for this when this is coming out. This is coming out in October, very, very soon. I'm not going to give you an exact date, but it's going to be very, very soon, and hopefully people will enjoy it. And yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, if you're the kind of person who wants to make some sort of bar or tavern or entertainment house or anything like that, I think this is the DLC for you because we're introducing tavern pieces, as we call them. So there are counter pieces, both in the covered and non-covered variety. And then as you can see, there are right angles, there are straights, and there are tiny corners at the end there. So for example, let's say I wanted to build a bar up here. I just grab my placeable, just like I do with any other kind, and then I just start building. And then as you can see, they are sort of made to fit together. Just have to be very careful about the placement, and then they should overlap just fine. And then if I want to have like one where they show off all the beer and wine caskets and barrels and stuff like that, then I can just put that one over there, and then I'm ready to serve, essentially. It does not include placeable tavern keepers, unfortunately, but if you have a serving thrall, or if you have a thrall that just sort of stands there and you just want him to stand there, then you can absolutely dress him up the way I've dressed up my character, using the innkeeper vestments and innkeeper pants, which we're going to show off that later on once we go over to this general area. I was going to turn off the rain here because it gets very wet and glistening and weird. So it's going to turn off all of that stuff, hopefully. And beyond that, there's a ton of other sort of like tavern and bar themed building pieces that you can put out everywhere you want. Like a lot of it is themed around like barrels and caskets and wine racks, etc. So if I want to, for example, I can just place this somewhere as sort of background decorations. We have some really cool looking new tables, some new like barrel type bowls. You can put wine racks up against walls if you want to. You have like barrel stools, as you might have noticed, etc., etc., etc. There's a really cool looking wine shelf you can put up on your bar or behind your bar. Like, there's a lot of different mixing and matching that you can do Yes, this is the Debaucheries DLC. If you're just joining us, this is the previous stream for the Debaucheries of Debaucheries of Derketo. My name is Yaserik. I'm your community manager, which I actually forgot to say earlier. And fun fact: when I wrote the like call out post on Twitch for this, Twitch said this might not comply with our moderation things. So apparently the word debaucheries isn't something that Twitch Twitch moderation enjoys, which I think is kind of funny. So next up, which I also saw a lot of people were reacting to, are the new curtain pieces, which you know, with the theme of role-playing and debauchery and, you know, sort of what am I trying to say, the whole, like, you know, expressing yourself in various ways with this DLC, you can start hanging up some curtains if that's what you want. They work just like any other type of flag or banner. You just have a wall and then you just, you know, attach it to the walls, and like they have to be broader in certain cases, much like these, and you can basically decorate an entire room with them. So I think personally I'm hoping a lot of role players are going to be enjoy this. Unfortunately the curtains cannot be dyed, but I know that a lot of people want to be able to dye building pieces and dye placeables. It is one of those suggestions that we've mentioned it to the dev teams a couple of times. So we'll see if it's something that'll happen in the future. And then we have, for those of you who, you know, want something a lot more luxurious, we have a new kind of bed you can build. It's called a luxurious bed. It looks nice and comfortable, which, you know, if you're building a tavern, why not have one, you know, special kind of room if you're that kind of role player. But the last thing that I think is, like, this is sort of what I consider to be like the pièce de résistance in this thing. And that is what we call the King's Board, which you can probably tell is a chessboard. And, you know, there's really no point in having a chessboard without chess pieces. And so we're giving you a bunch of chess pieces as well. So if you ever wanted to play some sort of Conan version of chess, now you can absolutely do so. With all these different kinds of pieces. So there's, of course, two sides, one black, one white. And you can place all of them out any way you want, make up your own rules. And then, of course, you know, using the system to pick stuff up and then place them down again, you can play a version of chess within Conan Exiles. Which I think that's super cool. I think that's super amazing. Excuse me. So, you know, I can just imagine the the role-playing streams where people, you know, sit down, one on each side, and then, you know, stuff is moving around, talking over chess, etc., etc. Set up the board for us. Oh God, I don't think I could actually. I would love to, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, that is the chess board, and then the chess pieces, and then people can sort of figure out for themselves what each one is. I actually don't remember what all the chess pieces, like real life chess pieces, are called in English. So, you know, but yeah, if that's your thing, go ahead. If you just want to use it for decoration, go ahead. If you don't want to use it at all, that's fine. I think it's really cool that we've added, you know, an entire chessboard with a bunch of different chess pieces as well. Yeah. Thank you, Sorcerer 21B. Pawn, Knight, Rook, Bishop, Queen, and King. Thank you very much. Hey, I know what the chess pieces are called in Norwegian. I just forgot what they were called in English. Sorry. All right, that's all the placeables. I'm actually going to delete that. That's all the new placeables. It's 29 new placeables, and as I mentioned, I may have missed a few as I was going through everything. So, like, if you're looking at the VOD and then counting, and, you know, I only made it to. Oh God, I can't add anymore, can I? Yeah, no, I can't. Never mind. Give. So yeah, those are the placeables. Let's see what else we got. All right. Emotes is also something that you get with this pack. I'm actually going to go up here again to my little area. I'm actually on the wrong side of the ladder, which is interesting. All right. You also get 12 new emotes in the Debaucheries of Derketo pack. I'm not going to show all of them, but I'm going to show some of them. And now I am getting to the outfits. I'm saving the outfits to the very end because I know that's what people want. And this is my way of forcing you to stay here until the end, unless you're watching the VOD, which you can just, fast forward. Anyway, for those of you asking, this is not the mounts update. Mounts are coming in December. This is called the Debaucheries of Derketo. It's coming out in October. And this is also a paid DLC. But if you already have the Year 2 Season Pass, for example, then this will come out with that. So, like, if you own the Year 2 Season Pass, then you will own the Debaucheries of Derketo automatically. All right. New emotes. As you can already see, like, my default wheel has expanded. And there's some new stuff here. There's a new category called Misc. There's some new stuff in the relaxation category. There's new stuff in the expression. There's a new expression category. There's also a new celebrate category. So one of the things you can do now with the Debaucheries of Derketo is you can chug a beer if you want to. And then once that is done, you burp and then you smash your glass. And then we're back to normal. And as far as I know, there should also be some sound effects to some of the stuff. So I think there's like a burp sound effect. I don't have my headphones in, so I can't really hear it. But there should be a burp sound effect, not burp sound effect to this. And then, yeah, basically you can do the thing that Thor does in the first Thor movie. You go, this drink, I like it. Psst, another. Another fun thing you can do, you can be a drunk or you can be an angry drunk. In case, you've had one too many. And you want to, start a fight with someone. And another thing that we're doing with, this is coming out for, so the next thing I'm showing you comes out for free. Another thing we're doing alongside this update is that it used to be when you were doing an emote and the emote would roll out, you would have to like click the left mouse button, or you would have to like move a step forward in order to cancel out the emote. Sometimes you would actually move with the emote as well. Now you can just hold down R, click stop emoting, and then you'll snap right out of the emote. And let's see, the final one, which is under Misc, which I really think is pretty cool, is you can juggle. And then you just juggle. Where did she get the juggling balls from? I don't know, but she can juggle. And so if you want to, for some of these emotes, you can basically do an infinite loop. It's like, I'm not, doing anything now. And as far as I know, I unfortunately, Andy, I can't move when I'm doing the juggling. But if I want to be a juggler for 5 minutes, I can just have my character stand around and juggle, basically. But I know that, running and juggling would be really fun. And if you go back and dig in some of the clips archives that exist of Conan Exiles, I think there's at least a couple ones where people are running and dancing at the same time, especially when they're naked. Detcord X over on Periscope asks, how much is this DLC? I haven't been able to afford the last few. This will, as far as I know, cost the same as the previous DLCs. Yeah, and as I said, if you already own the Season 2 pass, then, this will just slide right into your game. And then, it's the same thing as always. You hold down R, you select your category, and then, let's see, what's another one? I think, yeah, this is another one where you can sort of stand, nonchalantly with your hands on your hips, sort of checking your nails, all that kind of stuff. Basically, like, giving you new ways to express yourself and do all that kind of stuff. Alrighty. Boop. Those are the emotes. Those aren't all the emotes. These are just a couple of them that I wanted to show off. I have in my list here, it says that there are 12 new emotes of various sizes and categories. And I think people are going to have a lot of fun with these. All right. So, back to my chests. Next up is war paints and jewelry. Let's see, gonna climb back up again. And so, let's see, remove this, and as you can see, I'm playing with, not playing with full nudity because, you know, that stuff. So yeah, we're introducing 6 new war paints, which are purely decorative, but we know that, you know, some people really like the decorative war paints. And as far as I know, they should last for, I think it's like for 24 hours for the decorative war paints, and then it's like an hour for the attribute war paints. Yeah, so they come in various sort of types and moods. There's calm, passion, innocence, emptiness, lust, and then finally jealousy, which is I think is pretty fitting for something called Debaucheries of Derketo. And so first up, this is the calm war paint, which you know, has a nice calming blue to it. Looks really good. Worldbreaker getting nerfed. I have not heard anything about the Worldbreaker getting nerfed, so I don't really know anything about that. Unfortunately, Hoopin, I'm here to show off DLC content. That's what I'm here to talk about today. Yeah, as I mentioned, this DLC should, as far as I know, cost about the same as the other DLCs have cost, so $10. And is releasing in December, very, very soon in December, and is also included in the Year 2 Season Pass. Alright. Next up is the Passion War Paint, which has a lovely red to it as it sort of snakes around the person's body. And next up after that is Innocence, which is nice and white. Has some really cool like tribal motifs to it. And next up is Emptiness, and I know that Andy said that he was always wearing Emptiness, which, you know, for all the, I guess, emo kids out there, this is the floor paint for you. And I think this looks really cool. Like, it looks like there's some sort of like dragon fire or like dragon tail sort of like curling around your body, which is, you know, it's a cool design. Next up is the Lust War Paint, which is purple, which yeah, you should be able to see this, which has some, you know, eyeball effects here and there, because, you know, it has to be fitting with the theme of Derketo and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go full nudity on the stream in-game, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Finally, we have the Jealousy War Paint, which, of course, has to be green, because green is the color of jealousy. And, you know, it provides some nice little decorations that should, as far as I know, also shine through on, yeah, on some of the outfits if you're, you know, wearing the correct ones. Any Halloween event this year? Unfortunately not. We're not doing a Halloween event this year because the team's efforts have been focused on, like, this and all the, like, new stuff that's coming out. So, yeah, like I said earlier in the stream, like, alongside the Debaucheries of Derketo, the new dungeon is coming out. There are new weapons coming out. There's a new armor coming out. There are 2 new armors coming out, actually. So, like, it's all about, like, this stuff right now. So we haven't really had time to, like, properly plan and execute a Halloween event. And so, like, we decided, you know, we don't want to half-ass something like this, like a Halloween event, for example, because, you know, we want to do it properly. And the only way to do it properly is to, like, have some, like, decent planning and, like, you know, do it a couple of months in advance. All right, I actually need to hurry up because I got like 15 minutes left. Okay, next up is jewelry, which comes in which comes in a couple of varieties. So there's a gold variety and there's silver variety, and then there's anklets. There are circlets and earrings. There are bracelets. There are earrings, and then only circlets. So it basically just attaches to certain parts of your body. So like this, for example, is the circlet right here. It's sort of covered up by her hair, unfortunately, but you can see it way up top there. You have a nice little bracelet on her, like 2 nice bracelets on her wrist, and then you have the anklets all the way down by her feet. And then you can also combine some of these. So for example, there's the circlet and earrings, for example, which is exactly what you think it is, or you can just wear the circlet or just wear the earrings. And then, you know, the other variety looks different as well. So like these are the silver ones, which is slightly different from the golden ones, which, you know, I think they look neat. And I know a lot of, you know, some of you out there might think, well, who's been asking for this? And a lot of people have been asking for this. A lot of people have been asking for more social clothing, more jewelry options, just more of this stuff. And, you know, we want to cater to as many people as possible. So we've had DLCs that's more just like pure building or pure other stuff. And like, you know, we sort of want to give people variety, essentially. Shout out to the RP community, essentially. That should be the jewelry stuff. So, oh, let's not punch around us. Okay, let's do it. Outfits. It's time for a fashion show. All right, so, God, I'm on the wrong side of the ladder again. Jesus. Okay, we're gonna remove this table. All right. There we go. So I've already shown off the innkeepers stuff, but what we're doing in this DLC is that we are adding. So we're adding 2 new armors, which we're going to show you, and then we're also adding what we call armor, like outfit pieces is what we're calling it, which means that they're not like full outfits, but they are like pieces of outfits that you can then like match in with other things. So for example, this innkeeper's outfit is one of them. Like you just have the vestments and then you have the pants as well. There's also something that we call the noble's outfit, which I've dyed this. So usually it's blue, but I dyed it red because I thought it was a cooler color. And so I can actually show you the default as well. Let's see, noble's chest piece and skirt. Yeah, here they are. So just a noble's outfit. And then, of course, you can add in the circlet. You can add in the jewelry stuff, etc., etc., etc. To sort of, you know, vary up and judge up your character. And, you know, all the armor pieces, as always, are dyeable. You can change the coloring. You can mix and match different colors, mix and match it with different armor set pieces and get some, you know, really cool stuff, cool looking stuff. The idea is, let's see, Insane Archangel wants to know when the DLC is coming out for console. The idea is to launch everything on the same platforms at the same time, much with the previous one. So, yeah, it's October for all 3 platforms. Whoops. Did not mean to crouch. Yeah, the innkeepers stuff. There's the, there's also this, there's also what we call the artisan pants, which are, you know, a pair of trousers, essentially. And then you can add in, you know, for example, like she looks a bit more piratey with this outfit on. And then you can just add a pair of boots and then she sort of looks like a workwoman. And those are absolutely some tight pants. So, you know, if your character is a captain, you can go with the name Captain Tight Pants if you want to. Shout out to the Firefly browncoats out there. And, all right, so this next one is just some different kinds of bejeweled things. Like, it's not an armor set, but it's definitely something that I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be putting on some of their entertainer thralls, because it is what it is. Let's just show it off and see what it looks like. This is the kind of Derketo thing stuff that I think people want to see. How do you like it, chat? Yes? No? Yes? Thumbs up? Thumbs down? I think I broke chat. At least I broke this one. Yeah, I definitely broke the chat app. But yeah, this is I think this is the kind of thing that people want in this kind of DLC. So It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I think a lot of people are really enjoying it. So I'm going to show you later what some of the stuff looks like on some of the dancers. So we have some dancers all set up over there. And finally, like the two like full armor. Yeah, a lot of this is like very, you know, Red Sonja type stuff. So you can dye this, you know, gray, white if you want to, for example. You will not need to activate nudity for this outfit. Like I can even show you in my game settings. Gameplay, no nudity turned on, and then like your character still appears like this. And then I think there's a male thrall over there with the male version of this as well. So you're gonna be able to see what that looks like. All right, the two like full set, the two full like armor sets are inspired by Age of Conan. Much like in the previous DLC as well, where we had the 3 armor sets inspired by Age of Conan. So the Guardian class from Age of Conan, for those of you who remember that, and the Dark Templar class, for those of you who remember that. So first up is the Guardian's outfit, which I think looks really cool. And it's like, you know, gold armor / leather armor looking stuff that's got going. I think it's a really nice looking set of armor. This is a heavy armor. I think both of them are actually heavy armors, and it should give you I think, let's see, where are the other two? There we go. There's that one, and there we go. All right. Well, okay. So I think maybe in this build they don't have the attributes, but I don't remember what the attributes are off the top of my head. But yeah, Guardian armor. That's what it looks like. Next up, we have the Dark Templar armor, which is also heavy armor, but a bit more, you know, a bit more Roman inspired with the cape and all that kind of stuff, which people have been asking us about. Really like heavy, dense looking helmet, heavy, dense looking armor, etc., etc., etc. Right. Always remember to hydrate. So yeah, for those of you who are fans of Age of Conan, who came over from Age of Conan and, you know, wanted some more Age of Conan inspired stuff in the game, here it is. The Debaucheries of Derketo is the thing for you. And then I think I should have just enough time to go through the little village that we had over there. Yeah, and then of course there will be sort of like end level, not exotic, but forgetting what they're called now. Yeah, epic versions of these armors as well, and they look about the same, but a little bit more powerful, give you a slightly bigger boost in attributes as well. And of course, all the armors are fully dyeable, and so, you know, if you want to make this entire setup pink, you can absolutely do that. If you want to make it completely black, you can absolutely do that, etc., etc., etc. So it's absolutely possible to make this customize this as much as you humanly want. Will we see a Zotli armor avatar skin one day? I don't personally know, but who knows? Maybe. Like, it all depends on what the designers want to add into the DLC packs. But you know, I also know that people from the community want to see more Age of Conan stuff in Conan Exiles, and so the door is always open that there will be more that kind of stuff coming in down the line. But right now I can't, you know, confirm or deny what will or what won't come in. All right, so I'm going to put on my innkeeper's stuff again, take off all of these things, put the stuff back in the chest, and head on over to the treetop village right over here. So we made this in order to, you know, demonstrate everything that's in the DLC, and so you get to see some creative ways of putting all of this together. And so As far as I know, everything around here, apart from like the walls and like ceiling pieces and stuff, is stuff that you can, and like the ladders, of course. Everything is in the DLC. Ladders being in the base game. This should come out at the same time as the wine cellar comes out, as the new armors that you get in the wine cellar comes out. So yeah, here we have the male version of the Guardian armor on our fighter thrall right here. I'm actually gonna spawn in. Let's see, Dark Templar. I'm just gonna spawn some of this stuff in so I can place this on him, so you can see what it looks like from a third-person perspective. There we go. Dark Templar. Oh, that was that was an idle animation in first person, which, you know, they work. Are we going to make DLC stronger than Black Ice? Absolutely not. Like all the DLC items and, you know, armors and all that kind of stuff are meant to be on the level of what you already get in the game. But in terms of the top tier weapons, for example, they always have this like balancing thing with them. So like some of them might be more powerful in terms of pure power, but they also have more endurance, for example. So like you can use them more often than others, for example. Well, what am I trying to say? It looks like something that might be very powerful, but they have less endurance, less weapon endurance, for example. Something that's less powerful might have more weapon endurance, etc. Are the bridges made of hardened brick? I don't believe so, but we'll see. I'm gonna wait. I may have. There we go. Open this, and here we are. Welcome to the Treetop Village. And yeah, for those of you curious about what the male version of the the jeweled stuff looks like, this is what it looks like. There you have it. Yeah, and then, you know, there's a female version over there. So as you can see, we've set up a stage to have two of our dancers dancing around. Yeah, the idea is that the DLCs are essentially skins. Like, they are on the level of everything else. And the building pieces as well are like supposed to be on the level of the tier 3 building pieces. And my colleague here has set up a nice bar with a bunch of you know, different kinds of placeables, different kinds of chairs and benches. And this is the innkeeper's outfit that you see my character wearing, and this is the male version, which, you know, has pants. All those are dyeable, of course. And then we have the entire chess set up as it's supposed to be, with some pieces already in motion. And so, you know, who's up for a game of chess, really? And let's see. Finally, up here, we should have the. I'm just gonna. There we go. We have a nice, luxurious bedroom. Also built thanks to the treetop foundation, and then, you know, decorated with the new types of curtains and the new luxurious bed, which you then can use to update your spawn point or just go to sleep in. And as far as I know, I think that should be about it. So hopefully hopefully you've been able to enjoy everything that's been in this DLC. So to summarize, new building pieces, 10 or 11. I think I came to 11 in the end. New building pieces, 29 new placeables, 12 new emotes, 6 new decorative war paints, 2 sets of jewelry, 10 new outfit pieces, which are the single, like the artisan pants and like the innkeeper's vestments and all that kind of stuff. And of course, 2 new armor sets, which are 10 new armor pieces, both in, and they also come in like regular and epic varieties. And as far as I know, that should be about it that comes out with this one. And yeah, I mean, are people excited? Like, it looked like people were excited, but like, I haven't been able to keep up with chat that often. As you know, as you can see, I'm flying solo, but it looks like people are enjoying it. So, but yeah, and of course, this Debaucheries of Derketo will should come out at the same time as the new wine cellar dungeon, the new weapons and armors that come alongside that as well. And so the Debaucheries of Derketo will be paid DLC. The wine cellar dungeon will be free and is now available on PC Test Live. And of course, there's also going to be a bunch of bug fixes and issue fixes and all that kind of good stuff alongside that. So like all the bug fixes and stuff is free. Debaucheries of Derketo, paid DLC. But you'll get all the juicy details about what the bug fixes are, what the changes are once we roll this out later in October. And yeah, that's it as far as I can tell. And I hope everyone enjoyed this brief look or in-depth look, whatever you want to call it, as at the Debaucheries of Derketo DLC. And until next time, I hope everyone has a lovely Thursday. Join us tomorrow, where myself and Nicole and Andy are going to be playing some more Secret World Legends, because I want to play some more Secret World Legends. And if you've been following those streams for the past months that we've been doing it, you know what that's about. You know what's going to happen. It's probably going to be a whole bunch of shenanigans where I'm trying to play the game and Andy turns into a vending machine. All the kind of good stuff. But yeah, and then I hope you have a lovely Thursday evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.